Jessica lives in a poor neighborhood where she always worries about whether tomorrow will be a better day or not. She goes to a terrible college that teaches hundreds of students. The teachers don't try to do their most in being able to help their students to try the best to learn. Most students don't focus in class, especially Jessica. The education system isn't sufficient enough in funding for classes and programs in order to prepare students.
Jessica decides to drop out and get a job. She gets a low paying job and is struggling to make enough money to be able to get the necessities she needs. This occurs in the real world. The education system does not benefit all due to the lack of things needed to improve our education. So, where did Jessica fail? Was it in her dropping out of college or the education system?
My name is Wendy,
My name is Maria.
My name is Joshua.
and our topic is educational reform.
What is education reform?
Education reform is essentially the goal that changes the education system in order to improve or make it better for everyone's education.
Our essential question is what can be done to improve the education system in regards of funding and finding enough qualified teachers to support schools and student success in the future?
One part is going to be about teachers.
Our second part is the funding for materials and the Measure EE that was turned down.
And the third part will be about funding and improving the graduation rate and being able to get enough classes, programs, extracurriculars, and clubs that will be available.
So, teachers, we shouldn't be hiring a lot of substitutes because they be getting paid too much. That money should be going to kids who actually need supplies to get education. Also, another fact, teachers and students were getting discriminated because they were Mexicans. That shouldn't be happening because everybody should get the same right of learning.
Secondly is the funding. Funding is needed for materials in order to get technology, pencils, pens, markers, anything that will be available in order to be able to improve learning. Students need different materials like highlighters and pens in order to annotate their notes, in order to make them be able to understand their lessons even more. So, in a way, funding can help improve getting more materials that are needed. According to 25-year-old textbooks and holes in the ceiling inside America's public schools by Josephine Sedgwick, a teacher called Kelsey Pavelka was having old materials that was using old materials, and she couldn't get any more funding in order to get the material she needed. According to that document, I had 6 laptops for 42 fifth grade students in one classroom with many broken keys and chargers. My students were supposed to use these to prepare for their state test, which requires typing multiple paragraph responses. So she had to use so little number of materials in order to be able to teach so many students, which isn't such a good thing. Also, Measure E was turned down in order to give enough money for public schools that are part of the Los Angeles School District to help decrease class sizes, hire essential administration like nurses, teachers, counselors, etc., and to open more classes, clubs, and other programs that can help benefit the students. The election is on June 4, 2019, and if the vote gets 66.67% yes, then it will be passed. However, it wasn't passed, so no money was given to these schools that would really benefit from it.
The third point is money sources. So where do schools get their money from? Essentially, schools can get their money from donations and local and federal government. According to ASCD, public school funding in the United States come from federal, state, and local sources, which means like districts. But because nearly half of those funds come from local property taxes, the system generates large funding differences for school to drop out and get money to provide for their own education and studies. Most students do not have the necessities or funding to have a formal education in order to graduate. A solution to this issue is raising taxes. By raising taxes, we can collect more money in order to help fund for schools that really need the materials, the more administration like nurses, counselors, etc. to help and get more materials and help graduation rates increase as more money is being collected.